Brink was Bethesda's underrated masterpiece of an FPS game that they made back in 2011. This was an excellent game that I absolutely adored through my childhood. I even have the fucking manual. You know the big blue books that people get when, like, there was one for San Andreas. You get them out of PC World, even though PC World no longer exists. I still have that, and I used to read it at school. That's how much I love this game. So basically the story is, they built this massive city. The city literally goes under, like, malfunction or whatever because the world's water level raises, and they drag the city out to the sea with boats, which doesn't make any sense because how can you move a city just using boats? They haven't seen a plane, boat or anyone in 20 years, and pretty much the island is plagued and there's a struggle for food and water. All the rich people have all the food, all the rich people have all the water, but the slum people don't, and they're fighting to escape to find a better life. So first of all, after this little video, you are thrown into one of the biggest choices in the game. Will you be a security member or will you be a resistance member? So for chronological order's sake, I can't really say that word for some reason, I went with Save the Ark because it makes sense, because if you escape the Ark and then you do the security story, then why would they be attacking you again and doing the same thing if they've already escaped? It doesn't make any sense. So for story's sake, I did Save the Ark first because it just makes a bit more sense. So when you're chosen your story or whatever, you get taken to this bloke. This bloke is when you pick the security side. At the background there, the guy's face who gets bigger, that's Chen, that's Brother Chen. He's the resistance leader. This guy is the security leader, and you know he's hard because he breaks a wall with a little stick. You know, he's got his Minecraft stick, whacks it against the wall explodes in slow motion. It's probably one of the things that have been cemented into my memory for such a long time because it was very cool, and it was a really nice introduction to this guy because he just basically owns the entire security force and he is the leader, and basically he just tells everyone, you know, those resistance people that want to escape, all the poor people, shoot them. They're poor, they die. That's how it works, and they just want to save the Ark pretty much by just keeping people here, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so one big thing about this was character customization. This was an excellent game for character customization. Weapon customization wasn't really there. You couldn't get many skins unless you paid for DLC stuff, which wasn't even that bad because it was really cheap at the time anyway. And this game's now free to play on Steam, so I definitely recommend you play this before I spoil the entire story for you. So pretty much I just chose someone who looks like he does ket on the weekends, and he's a bricklayer in the day. And you get a load of other ones that you can choose from. All of these people's faces turn up in the story, and they don't use like NPCs that you can't create, so it feels a lot more real, because any of these NPCs that you see, you can make everything that they wear. You can choose anything that they have on them. You just got to be the right level. The max level is about 25, I believe. I remember that back in the day, everyone wanted to be level 20 because you got the anger costume. The anger costume was the sickest costume. It was even on the front cover, so it was the sickest costume of all time. But basically, yeah, I chose this guy because he looks like he does ket, and then I just went in to make him look like he's a ripped geezer. I was just trying to choose a voice that actually sounded correct to me. So basically it's just like generic American representation of a British voice that I chose. But yeah, let's continue. Character customization in this game defined the level of how good you were. The better you looked, the better you were, because the cooler the stuff that you could look like was the higher tier unlocks. So when you got to level 20 or level 25, which was the max unlocks, the clown face paint, that was one of the hardest things to get because you had to be level 25. If you got seen with that, they knew you were good. Same with the look. If anyone saw you on the security team and you were dressed head to toe in look drip, then you would be one of the best players on their team because the look was one of the hardest ones to get, and the look looks really cool. Same with the anger on the resistance team. The anger was the most sought after outfit that everyone would go for. It was the front cover boy. That's what everyone wanted to look like, was the front cover, because the look was the best outfit in the game. Most on the security side, you had the masks, which defined what the security was about. So pretty much all of the security stuff is terrible apart from the masks, because the masks were sick. You had the ill, you had the look, and you had the bug. These three were the most key ones that everyone went for. Everyone in the noob tier or the just a middle tier would always go for either the bug or the eel, because the eel or the bug were the mid tier unlocks. I think you had to be level 8 for the eel to unlock. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. So pretty much you literally went through unlocking all of these character customizations the further you went along. There was so much in-depth character customization, you were spoilt for choice. There was a lot of different tattoos and scars that you could get for your face, get for your body, and you could also do t-shirts, overshirts, and you could get face paints as well. And definitely with all these different ones, a lot of people used to use the broken nose because it was a pretty cool one to unlock. You can also get, when you choose any of your clothes, you could then choose a load of different colour customization. So each colour customization would also sometimes give you a camo on your thing. Especially with the mask on the resistance side, when you had the hockey mask, you could change the design on it, changing the different colours. Some just changed the overall colour on the mask, and some gave it a design. And these were really cool, and it was a really good part of character customization, which was done really, really well in this game. And I think other games, especially FPS games, should take it from like this. Instead of putting customizations or cosmetics in a pack, you should level lock it, because this gives people a drive to unlock something, and that's way better than just getting alpha packs or something like that. This was a sick way of unlocking stuff, which I really enjoyed. Character customization that you're seeing on the screen, whether you were light, heavy or medium, changed how you ran around pretty much. So basically the light archetype only could literally have a SMG and a pistol as his sidearm. So when you were a medium archetype, you could have a assault rifle and an SMG as your secondary, and when you were a heavy, you could have an LMG or a grenade launcher, and you could also have like an assault rifle as your backup weapon. These were like very varying different things, because if you were heavy you could take more shots, but if you were light you could run faster. And the medium was for the average tier player. I played the whole way through as a medium because the medium is a medium balanced character. It is perfectly designed, and it is an excellent way of changing up how the playstyles are done. The game mechanics for the time were very different, and no FPS at the time in 2011 really did this. So this starts off with showing you an introduction video, which will give you a 1000 XP bonus, which is a great start because it will give you a segue into your first level up. So there was 3 ways that you could play this game. There was the campaign mode, which was very story driven. Obviously you would follow either the security or the resistance storyline, and it would be very different depending on what one you chose and how the story and how you found out about stuff was done. And each story campaign had its different flip side objectives pretty much. So there was also this challenge mode, where it's a really good way of unlocking weapon attachments. In this challenge mode, which I do straight away, is where you upgraded your guns pretty much. So XP was the main drive to everything. You would get XP for pretty much doing anything you like. This went to cosmetics, this went to perks, which would give you better stuff, and all the weapon attachments were done in the challenges. As you can see here, you would do a challenge depending on what it would be. It would be like, you would do a level and they would give you, let's say, different attachments such as like scopes and whatever. So these are the 4 classes. You have the soldier, the medic, and the engineer and the operative. So the soldier pretty much places explosives on stuff and gives ammo out. It's pretty much like the Battlefield's LMG guy, but he also has the assault class mixed in with him. Operatives, this is the most painful thing, is hacking stuff. You could also change your disguise and whatever, but it wasn't too good. The operative was probably the least played class. Engineer was probably one of the better ones. You could build stuff, place mines, buff your weapons damage, and also place turrets. Turrets were really useful because they would just shoot anyone on sight. Medics were really good just for buffing your team's health, buffing your own health, and healing other people on the field, but it did cost one of your pip meters each time, which was not the best thing. So this is something it did differently, was these comms areas. They're command posts pretty much. What you do, you'd hack them and it would give you a buff such as health, depending on what you won. You would get supplies like pips for different things if you got a supply command post, and then you would also get some other ones that were just general command posts. You would have notifications for different little objective timers. Blues were side ones that where you would build stuff, and the gold ones were pretty much the main objective. Unless you changed your objective on your objective wheel, it would tell you different things to do, like, hack this door, repair the bot, and do whatever. This was a really good way of changing what you needed to do, and you could literally help out your team by doing different objectives, because this was a very objective focused game. It wasn't just shoot each other, it was do these objectives because this will get you progress further in the level, or it would make you win a match. So each match that you could play in online played like the campaign pretty much. But really all that happened was you would just do the campaign, but there would be no story involved in it, and it would just give you the same objectives, but these would play out so much differently on online, because the story mode was driven by bots, but online was driven by people, and people know how to play this game. So this made for great gameplay on online, because you would have so many different things going on, and people would be a lot better at taking down each other online than they would be in the story mode, because the bots are kind of stupid. But you could either get healed when you got downed by your teammate, which you'd stab yourself with a syringe and you'd get back up, or you could respawn at your main spawn point, but you'd have to run all the way back. It's kind of annoying. So in this game they had this free running mechanic for some reason, which actually played really well. The movement in this game was really fun because the movement was something different. Not many games had this sort of free running movement at the time, and that made it something completely unique, and it played out really well, and it was something that made you transport around the levels way faster than most other shooters. Challenges in this game were literally used to give you weapon unlocks, so pretty much all you had to do was do the challenge, whatever it was, such as this one here, be more objective.
Tests your ability to complete different objectives while under enemy fire. Your teammates will not complete any objectives. You must change the required class for each successive objective. Then deliver this item to complete the challenge.
This is a great way to learn how to play the game from the start, is do the challenges. One, because it gives you better weapons, well not really better weapons, it gives you a broader choice of weapons, and it will also give you weapon attachments, which is something that you'll want. It will give you a full gameplay of each little task. Apart from healing, you don't do the medic one here, that you don't need to, because doing the medic thing isn't too important, and this just goes over what the HE charge does. It blows up stuff, you shoot at people, and they go down. That's pretty much all it is. I went with the standard weapons because these weapons aren't bad. First of all, you get a Vector, and you also get some random, I'm guessing it's meant to be like an M4 or something, or not really an M4, I don't know. I'm not American, so I don't know my guns. But yeah, this will give you a good understanding of how to play the game. It will teach you how to do the detonation thing, which I didn't realise they actually disarmed, and I didn't know until I shot all these people over here, and then was like, oh, how has this not exploded yet? And then I just realised that they had taken it off, so I put it back down again. This is really all you do as a soldier, as one of the main tasks. This is the only task you need to do. It's a good thing that when you aim at someone, they tell you what class they are, because this is really useful for taking out certain members. If you are shooting at someone, you want to know what class they're at. So most of the time I shoot at any medics. That stops anyone from being revived, and depending on what is going on, say it's the HE charge, I would shoot engineers, because engineers would take the charge out, and that's what you don't want. Right here is what the command post is used for. You change your class. This gave me the engineer class, which I then need to repair this certain object. So engineer class can do several different things. It can protect the HE charge, which will protect it, will take it off pretty much. That's one of your objectives sometimes if you're just defending. If you're attacking, you'll need to repair certain things. This is a good way of showing you how the repairing works. It's rather simple. You just hold down F until it's ticked all the way to 100. The one that is probably the most annoying is the one that comes up next, and that's the operative. You have to hack an object, and that is the biggest pain in the arse you'll ever have, because it is just a very hard thing to do. It is just ridiculously, pointlessly difficult, because sometimes I actually had to later on, and I will say it again, I did a mission, and that mission took me several tries because of the fact that I was just getting absolutely obliterated by the enemy team. My teammates were nowhere near to be found, and I had to hack this object in the open, and it takes a really long time, and when you're an engineer you just take away the percentage and then you fully take it off. So it's quite a difficult thing to do, and really the only thing, if they ever did make a remake of this, or even just make Brink 2, because that would be sick. This game would do so well now, I reckon, in today's standard. This game, if it got done properly, this would be an excellent game for everyone to play. It's a really solid FPS game, and it's free to play right now, so I don't know, if everyone gives it a big revival on their servers, I think they might think about it. But this is an excellent game, and I really enjoy it. But this is the hacking thing, so what you have to do is place a box down, and then you have to let this meter fill up. This is okay, because I was just in the middle of a protected area, and that's fine. Usually this is what will happen when you hack something. Something will either open or it will end the mission. So here it opens something which I have to then collect and deliver. The only thing is, I think you should just be able to press... Oh no, actually it's kind of balanced if you do that. What happens when you collect it, you have to deliver it to somewhere, and when you deliver it you have to hold down F for a certain amount of time and then it delivers it. I was thinking maybe they could remove that, but technically it's still fine if you just did that anyway, and you literally just grabbed it, and it makes it a bit more balanced and gives the enemy team a bit more of a chance to shoot you before you deliver it. This is a really nice objective, and it's a good thing that you can do in this game. And using your objective wheel to check where it is, which is on my middle mouse button, it highlights where you need to go, and it's an easy way of just understanding what you need to do and where you need to go to. It's a really easy way of changing your objective so you can do something else and focus on something else to help your team out. This is a really well balanced way of making a game. This is an excellent example of how you should be doing FPS games, and this is a really fun way of doing objectives. The next challenge thing that you have to do is called Parkour This. This is a great way to understand how the movement works in this game. So pretty much you get given parkour movement, and this is a really fun thing to do because it is actually really fluid, and it is a really fun thing to do. So I'll show you what you have to do. So literally for this challenge you have to collect these lights, and usually this is designed so that if you just hold shift you're in a parkour mode, and no matter where you run you'll do parkour stuff to get over everywhere. And it's a really good way of teaching someone how to parkour, is just to grab these lights, because it gives you a route and then it also gives you areas to do. So you need to vault onto this to jump to here, to jump onto that, and that is a really good way of understanding the movement, because the movement in this game, depending on what body type you choose or the body archetype you choose, really changes how the gameplay is. So if you're using a light one, you can really sprint around the level real fast and you can get any way you need to go. With a medium you can pretty much do anything, and with a heavy you wouldn't be able to make certain jumps and you wouldn't be as quick as some of the other characters. The light is probably the best if you want fast movement and you want to be running and gunning everyone. The light body type is what you want. The medium is if you're just a regular sort of COD player, that's sort of how you would play it out. And for anyone that likes spraying people with LMGs and you like taking a lot of damage, I would recommend being the heavy body type and being a medic, because it means that you can go heal everyone and take a lot of bullets and shoot a lot of people. You do this one to get your muzzle brake, and you also do it to get suppressors and grips, and you have to do it again, which is the same thing, but you get a shorter time limit, and it's another challenge to do to get more unlocks. This next one, which is called Escort this was, as a child, I hated this one because I was so scared of failing it that I never really tried it. But when you get the sights are really useful. So you can use the iron sights because the iron sights are pretty decent in the first place, but this gives you a really in-depth look at how you should play the engineer, because this is what you will be doing as an engineer. When you do this as an engineer, you will be playing the objectives like this. Most of the time you will have to escort this robot if you're an engineer, and then you have to repair it, or you either have to just protect it as a soldier or do certain different things. The only annoying thing is this guy has some short range detection on escorting him. I genuinely just stood in front of him and let him push me along, because otherwise he would just go out of range and he wouldn't start moving. They spawn out of these little areas with a yellow light above them. You just have to take them out to get out the sights. I only did this one time because the sights are the first unlock you get, but you can do this again to get a drum mag, which I do later, but I do it off camera, and you'll see me then have a drum mag on my gun later on in the game, because sometimes I just kept running out of ammo while it was really key shooting people. But this is a really long one. It's not too long because you literally just have to do a little zigzag. It's literally to the right, to the left, and then you're done. So this one, once you've done this, you'll have all the sights in the game, apart from the adjusted iron sights, but they're kind of pointless anyway, and I never actually put in the time to get them at all. And neither of my own playthroughs of this game, one on the console many years ago and one now, I never actually put in the effort to go through and do that. But this is just another great way of just teaching you how to do it. There's also a tower defense one which gives you heavy weaponry, which I haven't actually done on the PC. I did it, I think one of my friends did it for me on console, because I was notoriously bad at FPS games. I still pretty much am. I never really played them a lot as a kid. This was the only one that I played a lot of, but this doesn't have any recoil control or whatever. But yeah, I used to just play games that I liked. I played a Little Big Planet, okay? Not much shooting goes on in there. It's just being creative. So basically, you have these outposts that you need to cap, and these will also give you ammo when you cap them as well. So it's kind of useful if you don't have a soldier coming around and helping you out. This is just quite useful to do, because you go into it and then you get ammo. You can also change weapons from here, but you can't change attachments. So if they did remake this game, just allow us to change the attachments when you're at the command post. It's pretty useful. Once you get to the end of this, it's literally all done. And there's one other one which I said about earlier, which is the tower defense thing, that they just come out exactly like this, but you just have to defend the command post and you get some heavy weaponry. Security Mission 1. So the first mission that you ever do, or the first, well, this still will be your first level even if you're in the Resistance, but you'll have a different objective. So for the security, there's this informant that is locked away by the Resistance, and they've given him a neurotoxin so he slowly dies pretty much, and these guys have to save them. They come in on this train, they really just talk about how bad the security is in this little cutscene. You'll have these at the start of every level the first time you do it. They're just getting annoyed at each other and just, you know, getting more aggressive, and they're at an aquarium, which is a really... the level layouts in this game are actually really good. I really enjoy these, and this is done really well. I can pretty much blitz through these because I've played them so much in my childhood that this is how it was. So I have some attachments here. So on my gun I literally have the vertical grip, and I've got an ACOG, you know, Siege player must have an ACOG, and I also have a duct tape magazine and some random muzzle brake. All the muzzle brakes do the same thing, they just look different, and they do vent out the flash a bit differently as well. But they don't have the same, they all have the same negatives and positives about them pretty much. So the shooting in this game is rather solid, to be fair. You don't have much recoil. The bullet spread is the only thing that's kind of annoying. You'll spray at people for some time and you won't have any recoil, but the bullets will just like fire off left and right to the sides of them, and that's kind of annoying. I remember this command post, you used to just cap it all the time because it was always there. XP is what you get to level up, and you'll get them from using the command post. This gave me a pip upgrade, so that means that I can throw more Molotovs, which I never really did back in the day. Well, I used to throw a lot of Molotovs back then, but I didn't really now. This is the first time that I was actually expecting the AI to do nothing. Most of the time the AI are terrible, especially on one certain mission when you're playing as security. The AI just don't do a thing. They're just trying to do side objectives instead of doing the main one. So you finally have this guy broken out, and this is where you do the escort missions. These are kind of a big part of the gameplay, but these are still pretty fun. So all you have to do is be a medic and heal him every time he goes down. You just got to make sure he keeps alive. Everyone usually huddles around him just to keep him moving, and that's how it works. You can buff your teammate, you can buff yourself, you can buff the guy. These are all little perks that you can do that take up 1 pip point, but they're still really useful. You can buff your gun's damage if you're an engineer, you give yourself more ammo if you're a soldier. You can't do anything if you're an operative, but you can disguise yourself as an enemy. He also has a gun, but he has never once shot that gun in the entire time of this game's existence. That guy never shoots that pistol. I have no idea why he even has it. But this is just a really simple escort mission that people will push you, but usually this isn't too much of a hassle. I am playing this on normal difficulty pretty much the whole way through, and all you have to do is get him to the outside, and that's the end of the mission. This is a really tough battle here. Most of the time when you're playing on multiplayer, this bit is where it gets intense, because a lot of people use that lift that's there, and you go up and down, there's always people there, but this is the multiplayer is way more fun than you think it would be, especially when you play the campaign. It's all for the story, yeah, that's fair enough, but when you play the multiplayer like this brings for some really intense gameplay, and it was a really excellent FPS multiplayer game back in the day. So the security mission 2, which took you to an abandoned airport terminal where really all that was going on is that you had to infiltrate the airport, get past the resistance and stop this data key from being sent to the resistance. So what was held on the data key was just flight routes back to the mainland Earth, well, like, you know, where any other country. So technically the Ark is its own island, it is its own continent, and they want to escape it to go back to the rest of the world. And this flight route that they were trying to get is what they were trying to get to escape, and you have to stop them from escaping to stop any other resistance members coming to the island and just taking over all power. This was one of the most solid maps I remember playing quite a lot of the time on multiplayer. It was either this map here, which is the terminal, and it was very popular. I remember this map being played a lot, like everyone used to play this map. It was really solid and there was a lot to it, especially in the later section where you do the next part, which is this first part here. You have to hack open a door to open so you can go to the next area. The AI actually helped me out on this one. Actually helped me out. So what they did, they just placed the hack box on the wall, and then they have to stand around hacking it, as you saw earlier in Be More Objective. So this is all they needed to do. It took them quite a while to do it, but once you've taken out the enemies, it's pretty decent. Most of the time when you play on multiplayer, everyone used to sit on the red conveyor belts because they gave them a high ground, and most of the time you didn't really pay attention to them because you were too focused on the objective, so they could catch you off guard by doing that. And this was a really solid area in the first section of the map, because I remember playing this bit a lot, because I remember being here and you either hacked it and got to the next area, or you would play and you were already in the next area. Most of the time, a lot of the time, people actually got past this when you were playing on multiplayer, and it's a rather easy section, to be fair. That hack box does go up rather fast. There were 2 people hacking it behind me here, but it still does go up rather fast. When you hacked open the doors, you would proceed to the next area, and I remember being this one of the well-designed areas in the game. The resistance spawn was really solid because it got you straight to where you needed to be to protect, and the enemy spawn or the security spawn, because most of the time I just played resistance, this was a really good spot because you could go straight to it and it wasn't too direct. There was multiple floors and the floor layout was really good. There was always a direct route, but there was also multiple routes to it. It wasn't a super linear way to get to the objective, but it was also always a fluid way to get to it. The map design was very well done, and a lot of people hate on Bethesda nowadays, but this was a really solid game by them, and I really wish they would make another one of these, because Brink 2, it would be such a good game, and I think everyone would probably enjoy it. If you're watching this now, I recommend that you definitely go play this game, because it was very solid. So I'll talk about the objective here. So as you see me, I'm whacking these guys on the floor. This is to give them a long respawn time. This is what most people did on multiplayer. You would finish off the downed enemies. Some people sometimes didn't, and it was fair enough because you didn't really need to. But all you have to do is open the safe. They rush at you, and most of the time they'll knock you over to get you off of it instead of shooting at you. I got downed here. It's the first time you see me get downed. So all you do is you either get a syringe thrown to you, or you wait until the timer says 0 and you go to the reinforcements and you respawn. And all you have to do is literally just open up the safe, and sometimes other people will help you. The more people blowtorching on that safe, the better it will be for you and the faster it will open. And it's a lot quicker to just blowtorch the safe open and stick on it like you would stick a plant in any other game. It's a lot better to stick on it and have that percentage timer go up and just walk back and forth making sure they can't hit you, then coming off, shooting, and then waiting until everyone's gone and then go on it. You should definitely stick and let your teammates protect you. And this was a really solid gameplay mechanic because it had people taken out of battle because they were focusing on doing this objective, because they can't shoot when they're blowtorching this safe open. You have to focus on having your teammates protect you while you open this. Once it's opened, it's another one of those things that you saw earlier in Be More Objective. You have to take the data key all the way back to the spawn. This is quite a long run, and this is where a lot of the time got spent. On multiplayer, this is the section that everyone sort of sat at. Because the map was from start to finish all the way open, it was quite a bit of a run back to the security firstborn where the train was, where you first get off. This is a very long run, and I had to do it twice because I ran all the way to the end, got killed, and they returned the data key, and I was just about to finish to pull it off, but then they got me. So pretty much all you had to do was to return the data key, and that's the end of this mission. Security mission 3 consists of you going to the people's slums. This is where every person lives in the Resistance and just the Commonwealth in general. Only the rich people live in that big tower in the distance or the luxury resort area. Only the rich people live there. There's only 5% of the rich people that live on this island, and they have 90% of the wealth. And pretty much with this cutscene that's going on here, they're talking about their family members that still live in the slums because that's all they can afford to live in. And the people that join the security are trying to get a better life for their family, and basically what they're talking about is what happens if I see my family member and I have to shoot them, and they're just saying it's all to save the Ark, you have to kill them no matter what. So what you have to do is blow up this big wall, and what I do instead is open up this side door because it gives you an alternate route to get around the enemies, to get a flank in them, and you can just shoot them all. And this also opens up easier path for the enemies to get to you too, but it's more of just one for you to go through because you have to open it. The HE charge opens this big wall for this robot to go through, which you have to escort to a crane. Once you've escorted it to the crane, you have to lift it over by repairing this crane. If you've repaired this crane, it will lift open or lift over the robot over to the other side of this ditch. This is technically where a river or technically I would guess a storm drain is what it's meant to be, and it's being lifted over because what is happening is that the vaccine or the bioweapon that they've made is being stored inside of a container vault. Once this has been lifted over, you just have to protect it and guard it all the way to the vault area. So what you can see now is it's being lifted over. I have to shoot at other people to protect it. So what you get given here is MG nests that can be built by any engineer, that can literally just be made by them. They spawn anywhere in the map. They're always in the same place. You just have to learn them. They're always in sort of key areas. So the MG nest, you literally just use yourself as an engineer to build it, and once you've built it, you have only an overheating weapon to shoot at enemies. It's a static weapon, it can't be taken off. It's very powerful, but sometimes it does miss its shots. So as you can see here, it's being used against me, so it can be used by both sides of the thing. I'm just strafing left and right to dodge all of his bullets. You have to escort this robot, and this robot has a set health. This is why you are an engineer. When the robot gets destroyed, or technically destroyed, or technically it's just temporarily damaged. When the robot is temporarily damaged, you have to repair it as an engineer. This is where you have to escort the robot to make sure it doesn't get shot. You get this really nice looking area. The lighting is done really well. The little neon signs is so cool. It's just, you can tell that it's handmade. Everything here you can see is handmade. The environments are actually really well done in this game, and not many people played it, and I don't know why, because this was an excellent FPS game, and I recommend everyone should go and try it. At least as it's free to play on Steam, go and try it. It's not too stressful on the system hardware because it's an old game, but definitely try it. I'm just taking out people here. What they're doing, they're crowding around this vault area ready to protect it. So as you can see down there to the right, where that little arches, that is where the vault is. This is where you need to take the robot to, because this is what it needs to cut open, so you can then have the bioweapon on you, which you have to run back to a helicopter. That is where the crane was, pretty much. So where the crane is, as you can see now that the robot is turning to go and cut open this door, this is where you have to keep yourself alive and just keep your teammates alive so they can protect you while the robot opens the door. The robot is in an invulnerable state, so you can't shoot it. If you shoot it, nothing happens. You can't damage it. It's at its point, so it will just continue with its animation. Once it's done, it will open a door where you then have to carry the vaccine back to the helicopter. I was really lucky here, so what I was doing, I was just shooting people, and once I got the vaccine, I ran it all the way back to the helicopter, where I was lucky enough that I was just about to die, and then I got it sent through and the cutscene played, and we finished the mission. Security Mission 4 is rather simple. The main story of it is pretty much they are trying to get a prisoner out of the prison. This is a big prison area. This is quite a large map actually. It's got several floors to it. It's a very large map that is quite fun to play on multiplayer. The objectives are rather hard on multiplayer because there is so many for the Resistance compared to the security only have to just stop you from getting through. And this is where it becomes a really good actual battle, especially on multiplayer, but it's actually quite fun here because as a security member you're only defending, and I did this rather well. I did it all in one go. They didn't even open the little door thing that you have to open straight away. It's rather simple. All I did was sprint to the area and shoot anyone that was there at the time. All I had to do was be an engineer because all you have to do is stop a HE charge. The first one is a HE charge, the next one is a hack, and the one after that is just escorting a man all the way back to the exit. So this guy is a pilot that is the one that will fly the plane all the way back to mainland, like the main world, I suppose, because that's what this Ark place is disconnected to, is the mainland world. They don't have any connection to it whatsoever, so this is why they're trying to escape to get help. With it being such a simple task on the security side, I won't show you much of what happened. Literally all you have to do is stop them from coming in and just defend the conduit, because when you open the conduit it opens the door to the next area. Security Mission 5 is probably the worst one for this security. It is one of the hardest missions that I've had to do in this game, especially just because the AI are just very inept at what they're meant to do. So what they should just protect you, because I have never once seen them place the hacking box on the next objective. They have never once done that, and they are so inept at protecting you that you will just die over and over again, because the Resistance spawns so close and you spawn at least 100 meters away from the objective, and this is what makes it really difficult. But here, the first part that you get given, you have to repair a crane because it opens up a barricade to get to this missile that you're meant to stop. So their plan is to send this missile into the big tower. And I actually figured out that you could lean here. It's not like siege leaning where if you press lean you're stuck in that position and you can walk around with it. You can lean, and you can't really lean spam, but this proves that leaning was done a very long time ago. It just wasn't very good at the time. All you have to do here, repair this crane control so you can lift out this big wall out the way. But this is an excellent example of game-changing level layout. Because the engineers have this ability to build this massive wall here, it cuts off a path that you can use to get to the objective. I will show you it later when I play it on the Resistance side, that I use these walls to my advantage so hard. It will take them so long to get round when you have these walls up. These walls are a key way to let the security in. If the walls aren't there, then they are getting in rather fast. But if the walls are there, then they are taking forever to get to you. And this is where it gets a bit difficult, but luckily when you are the player, it's kind of easy to stop them from building it because it just takes them such a long time. They will have to build it here, and that will cut off one area, and all you have to do is literally just repair this crane, and it's not too difficult because most of the time you can just crouch behind it and you'll be in a very good protection. I didn't crouch there, I was being stupid, but you'll be in quite good protection, and most of the time your teammates will actually help you. Once this barrier has been lifted, this is where the mission gets hard. I remember this map being really a fun way to play multiplayer because you only had two objectives, but the objectives were both rather difficult when you had multiplayer people shooting at you, because when you play on multiplayer, most of these people aren't brain dead. They aren't terrible at the game. They know what they're meant to do, and they actually help you as a team work towards you being able to do it. But when you play this and you're playing it on single player, they focus on building a bridge 90% of the time. I don't know why. It is a bit quicker to get to the objective, but that's all they focus on, and I have no idea why they don't want to do anything else apart from focus on this bridge. I was here for quite some time because I couldn't remember this level layout. I remembered it from the Resistance side, but I never remembered it from the security side, because most of the time when you played this on multiplayer, not many people made it to this point. It was always in the first area, and when you did, most of the time you were just on the Resistance anyway, so you were just defending this next area. I remember making a Smurf account for this game because I didn't like my username back in the day. On my PS3 I was called X-Wave, all lowercase. It's a cool name now because it's such a simple one-word name, but I changed my name to like Beach Turtle 14ZK. It should be ZK because I'm English, but I don't know why. I just, it sounded more fluent as a Z for some reason. But yeah, I made a Smurf account for this game because I loved it that much. It just proves that this was actually quite a good game, especially for new people that weren't very much into FPS games. This was a great starter game. And I remember going to school and people were always talking about it to each other. Oh, what outfit are you wearing in Brink? Everyone was all about getting that anger outfit and everyone wanted that and everyone just loved being part of Resistance. And that's just how it was. Everyone loved looking cool. Right here you see me, I'm actually playing as Operative and I've hacked myself to give myself like a fake skin and they just see me as one of their friendly members, but most of the time online people just shot at their teammates just to check whether they were Operative anyway, just to check if they were actually just like a fake Resistance member and they were actually security. I don't know why I went for this command post, this is not the objective at all, but yeah. This is where the mission got hard. This took me ages to do because you have to stand pretty much in the open where you're being shot at from left and right, and this is all you have to do. I get down so many times here, I was getting so frustrated. This takes such a long time with the AI just not helping you out. They're so stupid on this level for some reason and I have no idea why. But when you play online, this is a very balanced map. This actually can play out very well. This is why it's annoying. You get to like 70% and these guys come along and take it all away from you. And that frustrates me so much. They do it all the time. And you're like, can I just do this? And none of your teammates, for some reason, don't want to be operatives. They don't want to help you out. They don't want to do the objectives. They either want to be medics that are way too far away to heal you, or they want to be engineers. I have no idea why this is, and it's kind of annoying. But yeah, this is why this mission is frustrating. But when it's done, the missile fires anyway. It shoots up in the air, drops down a bit, does a flip, and then hits a helicopter. And you basically took an L anyway, so it's not like it really matters. This was one of the most satisfying things to see when I finally finished this mission, because it took so long and it was just a big pain. But yeah, what can you expect from a game this old? It's something unique and it was quite hard to do. But yeah, the rocket goes off. It's like, oh, do a flip and bang into the fucking helicopter, and then it goes to the next mission. Security Mission 6 was one of the defense missions pretty much, so most of the time when you're playing a security, and it's pretty much fair, you have defense missions where you genuinely just have to defend an objective, and this is for both teams, and each one that you attack on security you will be defended on for resistance, and the same if you're defending for security you are defending for resistance. So this guy uses telekinesis to realise that there's a boat coming, and I don't know why he didn't even touch his head. He was just like using his mind powers to sense that they were coming. But what you have to do here is stop these guys from using from hacking a reactor to stopping it from blowing up. I changed weapons in the last mission to deal with the close quarters shotgun madness that I had to use. I literally had to use a shotgun because it's like 2 bullets and then they die, and it's a lot quicker. The shotguns are actually pretty sick in this game. You just don't see them being used that much because the assault rifles were always just a better all-round gun. These missions are rather simple. Genuinely just defend them, stop them from blowing up the reactor, and pretty much making nuclear fallout on the all of the island. But yeah, this is where perks come into play. So what I did here, I spent some of my perk points to get a turret. Turrets are really useful and they were used a lot in multiplayer because they would just blaze through enemies. They were 100% accurate, they just locked on and they mowed you down. If you were far enough away you could throw a grenade at it and the grenade would most of the time just take it out in one hit. If not, you could just shoot it and then the grenade would go away. What I did here was a combo of genuinely just using a turret and a mine to place the mine on the floor in front of the thing, so even if they did get past my turret, they would step on the mine and die. The mines are really useful, you just don't use them very much unless you're in a defense mission because it makes way more sense to do it. They each cost 1 pip point, but most of the time They stay there for quite some time, so your pip points come back. So either when a turret gets destroyed or a mine gets blown up, you can just place another one straight away. Both sides have a what if mission. They both have 2 what if missions. There's a total of 8 missions for each side, so a total of 16 missions in the game. That's 16 different levels that's 8 different levels to the game. This is one of the best looking levels in this game. The whole map is really well made and it looks amazing. It actually makes me want to go to this place because the place looks so cool. I would love to be a rich person here and visit this area. It would be awesome. Obviously before the Ark turned into this hellscape where everyone's shooting each other, even though that would still be quite fun. But yeah, all you have to do here is another defense mission. You have to stop them from blowing up this pillar because it will let down a helicopter which has like a navigation system inside of it that they need to use to get back to the mainland. So you need to protect this pillar, stop them from blowing it up, to stop them from progressing and getting to the next area. This next security what if mission is another defense mission. This is a very good level and the level design is really nice and it's pretty huge as well. This is probably the biggest map in the game. Maybe not, it's probably one of the bigger ones. It is quite a decent map. There's a lot of flow to it, there's a lot of areas that are really good, everything is sectioned off really nicely, and this is a really good mission for the Resistance, but online this was a very security sided mission. You only had to defend stuff, so you had so many objectives to do as a Resistance player that it would just sort of ruin the flow for this online multiplayer mission. This would take too long and it would mostly 90% of the time result in a loss if you were on the Resistance side, but if you're on the security side you pretty much had this in the bag as soon as you got this map. But other than that, this is still a really good mission and the map is really decent, but I'll talk about this more when we come to it in the Resistance side. The Resistance. This was the enemy force of the game. Technically it is the antagonist of this game, but you can really be the protagonist of this game depending on how you look at it and how you play. The Resistance came with the best customization, they had the best looking outfits, they had so much stuff that you could choose that everyone wanted to be Resistance because they had the coolest outfits. I still believe to this day this is the best customization I've seen for character customization in an FPS game. I really enjoyed how this came out. This looks really cool. You have so many cool options that really suit the Resistance sort of style. You can see how stuff has been pieced together because they can't afford to have high quality materials, or they're just finding stuff around. Like this hockey mask they have found, the sweat is literally just a bandana for probably a welding mask or whatever it's meant to be. The fire starter is just a gas mask. The anger, the number one thing that everyone wants, is just a balaclava that's been sewn together. The fortress is a paintball mask. A paintball mask is obviously they've just found that somewhere, and genuinely this is the best character design in this game. When you start with the Resistance, you get brought with another introduction video. This introduction takes you into the introduction of Brother Chen. Brother Chen is the leader of the Resistance. He lights cigars with sunglasses, he has a baseball bat, and for some reason I just always thought he was a midget, but he's not. But yeah, so he is probably the better character in this game because the story makes a lot more sense, because you want to escape because you want to find a better life than just staying on this Ark. It makes sense if you're rich, but this makes no sense if you're poor. You want to be able to escape the Ark and look for a better life, because this life is nothing to be proud of. You are struggling through life, nothing is going great for you, you're living in a hellhole, a place riddled with disease, and you want to escape, and he is leading you on that path. This first Resistance mission brings you back to the centre of life, or the centre for life. It is the aquarium centre where you are holding the man hostage with his insides basically shutting down to the virus that you have given him, and what you are doing is protecting him because he is an informant of yours, and what you're doing, he is a politician that you're keeping captive to stop them from giving information about the Resistance to the security, and this is why you have to defend him. This is rather simple, and for some reason when I played this on this time round, I was getting absolutely obliterated by the bots. They were coming in, they were destroying me, laying down the law, absolutely ruining my life trying to do this. They were even finishing me off. Several times was I getting whacked and being completely killed out of the game, where you see someone play from the third person. I was setting up a turret ready for them to come through that door. There was a dude that had literally just got a command post and then he was coming back. So I placed down a landmine and was like, oh, this guy's coming through. Yeah, that's cool, that's cool. And all of a sudden they just flanked everywhere. And I have no idea how they did it so fast. The AI just somehow just big brain all of a sudden. And I was just trying to spray everyone down. All of a sudden they had stormed in. I was very low on health. They had got the charge. We had finally got it off, which was really lucky, but they do place another one. And this is where I was realising that I was being killed. That guy whacked me with his gun. I got killed fully by an actual AI, and I was so confused. It seems like they had got smarter all of a sudden, but this is what you see when you die, pretty much. When you're on multiplayer, you will spectate someone for a brief few minutes or whatever, or a few seconds until you get put back into the game. But yeah, basically you just have to defend, and then when that's done, you're to the next bit. Resistance Mission 2 is a big part of the story. You have to break out the pilot Natchev, which is being held inside of an infirmary inside of the prison. He is weak, he is not strong, he is also given a gun when he's walking around, and he still doesn't shoot anyone. But yeah, so I'll tell you how to get through this. So the first step is that you'll have to be a soldier. What I did, because I realised that it would take them quite a while to get there, full sprint, full send straight to the panel. You can do this pretty easily straight away. Probably not on multiplayer because the AI is kind of stupid here. But yeah, all you have to do is open this panel and then plant this charge. Once you've planted this charge, it's literally all you have to do. Defend it until it blows up. And then once it's blown up, you're literally through to the next area. This isn't too hard to defend. If you switched to a engineer, you could probably just place a turret down and deal with most people coming nearby, and you'd be pretty safe. The next bit that you have to do here is be an operative, and you have to hack an area to open the vault. You basically have to hack open a safe to then get a key so you can learn the code to get into the infirmary. This was quite strange because the AI actually helped me. Usually this is a very tough spot to think, this is a very tough thing to do online because the AI had already got this done already, but most of the time AI is online, people have swarmed this area and they are protecting it. These guys were protecting me, helping me out. There were several different AI being operatives and helping me out, made it so much faster. They were protecting it really well. Pretty much didn't even get shot once, and even when I did, more of our team turned up. I don't know what happened here, but we seemed to blaze through this bit, and I thought this was going to be a really difficult section. But this actually wasn't too hard, and I guess I got really lucky, but this is a really key part to this mission. Once you've done that, all you have to do is then take the code to this door over here. To be honest, for some reason, the enemies really weren't spawning, and they were giving me such an easy time, just ran straight to it, and this is where it gets a bit difficult, especially online, and I talk so greatly about the online here is because the online play really worked well with this story, and it was a really good push for both sides. You have to break this guy out, and once you've broken him out, he's a very slow walker. He's like that first guy that you have to defend in the story of the security. You have to just take him all the way from this infirmary to back where you started. It's quite a long walk, and there is one bottleneck which gets to a very big gunfight. Everyone always fights there. Through here it's not too bad. Sometimes you can get stuck here and you'll be sprayed down, but a lot of the time it is genuinely a massive gunfight in the later section where it's just you coming just out of this area and you're walking back up to the prison walls. That is where you'll have a massive gunfight most of the time, and that is where the heat of battle online is real good fun. This is just where it gets difficult. This is the area where this will be a large bit of gunfight will happen because they all seem to swarm on the ramp or on the stairs. Once you've got past this area, you're pretty much on the home sprint and you'll get right back to the area where you started, and then that's the end of the mission. Resistance Mission 3 takes you back to the airport. This is pretty much what you would be defending, and this is a great example of how using these gadgets that this game gives you, reminding you this is back in 2011 when it gives you gadgets, not like Siege when it gave you gadgets. This was like when you use the turret and the landmine to your greatest advantage. This was the best example of it here. I'll show you it now. This is the perfect example of how gadgets really do help you out. So the turret was literally killing anyone that walked in the room, and most of the time the AI would walk through that main door that I placed the mine on. It's the same with online. A lot of the time people would walk through that mine. It would genuinely just stop anyone from coming through. The mine can kill or knock down about two to three people depending on how close they are to it at the time. It will take anyone down pretty much, and it is a really good example of how these gadgets were actually useful. It's not just a straight FPS game. These gadgets really helped out and they changed the gameplay so much. This is a defense mission, and there's not much more to it. You genuinely just have to defend this area, and once you've defended it for as long as the mission timing is, then you're pretty much done. But it was just to show that this is what the mission is, and this is what you genuinely have to just do, and it was just a good example of how everything works and how gadgets and stuff in this game are key to keeping this going really well. This next mission is Resistance Mission 4. It is one of the longer missions because you are attacking. You're going back to the Marina Resort, so it's that big shopping area which is the most detailed and the best looking map in the game, and it has a really nice level layout too. This is a very long, lengthy mission because you have to do another escort in this, but this is the escort of the robot, and the robot takes some time to escort because it's a robot and it's rather slow. But this is still quite a really good mission because even online, this mission plays out really well, and it's rather balanced, to be honest. You can actually have a really good time either attacking or defending this. All you have to do is place the HE charge on that first tower thing. The support that's, if you actually look up, there's a helicopter that's crashed into it. It's technically a what if mission, and it's technically this is the only mission that's sort of out of sync with the story, because this one only makes sense if the security missed that shot on the tower. If the security actually stopped you from shooting the missile onto the tower, it would have hit this helicopter and the helicopter would have landed here, because it would have crash landed here. And this is a key mission to the story for the Resistance, which is kind of confusing. This is actually a mission that in the storyline needs to happen for you to progress. So what this is getting you is the navigations box. This navigations box tells you the flight path of how to get back to the mainland world, so where everyone else is that isn't on the Ark. This is where everyone is, and this is the only one that is sort of out of sync with the story, which I don't really think they really realised, and obviously either until people said anything or whatever, but you know, this is still really good. I really enjoy this mission because it's got a lot for it, and this next bit is pretty good too. This next area is probably the best looking area in the game. I actually wanted to take a holiday to this area. You have it's either a water fountain or something, or it's a big swimming pool that goes through the resort. Either way, it's pretty epic, and I really would like to actually stay here without all of this beef that's going on between the security and the Resistance. This place just looks really nice. You have two objectives: either transport this robot, or you can blow up the bridge that is blocking the robot. So you can either be a mechanic or a soldier, because you need to plant a HE charge on that bridge that's in front of you that is stopping them from, even progressing. This is the one time that you have a Resistance bot, and it actually looks really cool because the Resistance has obviously put their Resistance flare on it and tried to mend it with whatever they have, and they've added a bloody shark mouth onto the front of it. That is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. This is what the aesthetic of this game is. It's just one of a kind, and it's really good, and I really enjoy it. This mission's not too bad. After you blow up this bridge, you then have to hack this HE charge to open up the gate to load this bot back onto a boat to take it back to the slums, I'm guessing. But that is the end of this mission. It's rather simple, rather straightforward, but it's a really fun mission to play. Resistance Mission 5 sees you back at the slums, and you are defending from the security attacking and taking this bioweapon. So what I'm showing you here is this very insane defense spot, which works like ridiculously good, and I don't think they realise this. On multiplayer, I used to use this spot a lot, and a lot of people don't know how to get up to it. It's rather in a hidden place. It's only really useful for defense and not really attacking, because if you're attacking, why would you be looking at your own side? But this is a really fun mission, especially when you're just sitting up here all game and it's basically like tower defense, and that's why this mission actually feels really fun here. The difference is with this one, the attackers actually brought the robot there first before they blew open the wall, because our guys then brought the robot through after we had blown up that big wall. But this just shows you how the mission can play out if you're on the defense side. It's just a defense mission, but yeah, this is mission 5. Resistance mission 6, the main final mission of the Resistance career path, or the actual campaign, sees you back at the airport again. So basically what you have done, you have blown open that door, you've got the fuel, you're going to the plane now is what this part is. Once you fueled the plane up, you then have to do the next step, which is a bit of a pain, is pretty much just hack the thing. You genuinely have to hack some data box or whatever it is. I think it's just a navigation system that you have to hack, which you then have to bring to the plane to upload the data to it. That segment is pretty hard, and this is even harder because you're transporting stuff, and most of the time when you transport something there's a lot of guys there already, so you have to take out the guys, and once you've taken out the guys, you then have to insert the thing, and sometimes when you are there and there's so many people around you, you die and then you lose the item that you're meant to have on you, and once you've lost the item that you're meant to have on you, they return it, so you have to then bring it all the way back, and that one's quite a pain. The next step is to repair the fuel pumps. You have to repair these fuel pumps to the plane, because this is how the plane's going to fuel so you can escape. It's the final part, and this is quite a long-winded mission. This is really unfair on the multiplayer side for the Resistance, just because the fact that when people are actually good at this game, it makes it a really tough fight getting even just the first one. Hacking is more or less impossible when you're online. It is literally the most impossible thing in the world to do. It takes so long, and it's a big pain in the arse to do. And then even if you get the hacking done, you then have to transport it. Now think about people that are actually smart at this game, transporting an item towards the actual thing that you need to do, to then put it in. The people that are going to be there have set up turrets. They're protecting it already. They're shooting you while you're trying to run over there. They're then returning the item when they down you, so you have to start all over again. This is really difficult, and then don't even get me started with the repair thing. You have to sit in one place for a certain amount of time, and that place is very in the open. You're going to get shot 90% of the time. It's going to be pretty difficult, and it just makes it a really unfair but really tough thing to do on multiplayer, because people are smart, and people are smarter than AI at this time. So this was quite a difficult mission, but it's the pinnacle and it's the end point of the main Resistance storyline. You get in a plane, you fly away, and you have escaped the Ark. That is the main part, and you have done with the story. There's 2 more what if missions, which I'll get to next. Resistance What If Mission 1 brings you back to the very painful security mission where you are stopping the rocket from hitting the tower. This is one of the one of the most unique level design maps in this game. This is why I want to speak about it here, because it gets shown in its full light. This is an excellent way that this map is designed. This was a really fun map on multiplayer because of the way it was designed and the way that the layout was done. Everyone was always shoved into a corridor together, and they were all having these massive gunfights. These were always so fun to do. So what I'm showing you here is me constructing this barricade. This barricade cuts off a very short path that takes you to the main objective. Once this barricade is up, it either has to be taken down by the security team with a HE charge, or you just have to walk round. This is a really good way of doing level design, that the fact that people can control how the map plays. If you are thinking that it's too easy for them to get to the centre, get to the objective or whatever, then block it off. This will give you the ability to build something that will just straight up block off the path for any of the enemies to get to. This means it's going to take it a longer time for them to even come close to this area, and they have to walk the long way around. And when you walk the long way around, you've got people already standing there waiting ready to shoot you. And this is why this level design is excellent. I absolutely adore this game and I adore this map just because of this level. This level changed everything in an FPS for me. I never really felt the same about an FPS apart from when Siege happened. That was like the only time when I really felt that the level design had been taken into account and how you can make new paths and block off old ones and stuff like that. That is the core mechanics to an excellent FPS game, is the fact that you can change the map, because then whenever you play it, it always plays differently. Like whenever I played this, it would either be a swarm or it wouldn't be a swarm, or it would be half and half, or people would just be attacking from one area, and I just remember having such good times playing this game. So I definitely recommend that you should play this. I know that I've said this throughout the video, but please just give it a try. It's free to play. I really want them to make a second one, but I know they won't. It's the same amount of effort me making this video as people saying Skate 4. But yeah, this is an excellent game, and time to get on to What If Mission 2. This next Resistance What If Mission 2 is really the end game. This is what would happen if you let them through the first time when you're on this map. This is a reactor map. This is the reactor for the entire island, or the entire, whatever you want to call it. It's technically an island, but this is the entire reactor that powers the whole place. What your plan is to do is to blow it up, and to blow it up you create nuclear fallout on covering the entire island, pretty much killing everyone. Everyone would die, or everyone would be within equal illness that they would have to equally disperse the medication towards everyone. It's not, you can't just give it to the rich people, you can't just give it to the poor people, you have to disperse it equally, and that's what they were aiming to do. This was just a threat to make them, give them food and water, or like just give them more food and water at least so they could actually survive. And you technically weren't meant to do this. According to the storyline, Chen says that this was only a threat, you were never meant to go here. These guys just went at it on their own because they were so angry and blew it up. And I remember this mission for one reason only. It was my birthday in year 6, I believe, and we were playing this game. Oh, it can't have been year 6. It must have been year 5. We were playing this game on my birthday. It was me and my friend Charlie. Yeah, we have the same first name. And we were playing this, and it was his turn to play or whatever. And we were on this map, and it was the first time we discovered a glitch. Some dude on the security force, he had the bug outfit on. We shot him. He died. He went down, and he clipped through the staircase. And I just, for some reason, remember that clear as day. That was just quite funny to us. I don't know why. And yeah, this game has brought so many good memories to me. I really, really enjoy this game. This is the end of this video technically. This is an excellent game. I really, really hope people come and play this game. If you want me to, there is DLC for this game that includes 4 more missions technically. If you want me to show you those, just give some support on this video. If I get, like, I don't know, give me, I sort of want this video to do really well, so if it hits, I don't know, 500 likes, I know that's practically impossible for this, which means I'll probably just buy the DLC and make a video on it anyway. But if this hits 500 likes, I'll make a video on it. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. This took me a long time to make. I was really passionate about this. I hope it came out really well. I hope people enjoy it. I hope people understand how this was an excellent game. I really hope this motivates people to play this game and just give it a try. I reckon you can just play the casual mode, like it's called free play or whatever. You can just play that, or get a bunch of friends together and just create a private lobby and go play this game together in that. And if enough people see this and enough people play this game, you could probably revive the servers yourself and just have a fun time playing it. I reckon this would just be a good game for everyone to play while they're down in this quarantine lockdown. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. This was a really long video to make, and I hope you did sit here to hear me say this at the end. But thank you very much for watching, even if you watched it just for 5 minutes. Thank you very much for just stopping by and having the time to watch me make this video on something I'm very passionate about. I really enjoyed making this, so yeah, thank you, and I will see you a lot later. Goodbye.